All right. Aside from Minions, we've got some other game news here. Alex, let's keep this baby going on the awkward. You finished the NBA 2K story.
Oh, I did, yes.
Austin and I saw some comments saying that goes places.
Oh, boy,
thoughts?
does it ever. Well, how much do you want me to spoil here? Because it is...
Should we just pop it?
Man, there's some stuff in that story.
There is, and I also sort of don't necessarily feel super bad about spoiling it because it is god-awful.
I'm going to say this is a sports game, can't spoil the story.
Yeah, and this is all the Spike Lee stuff?
The living the dream stuff, yeah.
Okay.
Do it.
And it is hot garbage. Yeah, that mode, it essentially plays out like a really horrendous stage play about basketball. Every scene that happens in that mode, it takes place in one location and goes on for like Kojima length.
What give me some of these story beats.
So the story, the basic story is kid from Harlem is drafted into the NBA and goes through challenges.
Okay.
And those challenges more or less are managing your family and your business, your personal brand.
Sounds tough.
You've got a sister who's a little overbearing. You've got a girlfriend who, some people think is just a gold digger.
Yeah.
And then you have this best friend, Vic, who is a troublemaker from your past that you have nonetheless have loyalty to.
Okay, this sounds like a genuine story. Tell me why Freak gets it so bad.
It's a few things. One, the writing is... It really reads like something that Spike Lee wrote like 20 years ago as an idea for a play that he never bothered to use, that he just updated for the time and for the medium here. Like I said, every scene goes on forever. And over the course of those scenes, all people do is repeat the same points over and over and over again. They say, like the owner of the team can't just tell you, hey, this Vic guy is a bad influence. We're worried about it. He has to go on at length about a story about his past where a guy he knew, who he grew up with, who also was trouble, how he went through the exact same things that you did. And also what happened to that guy is that he died and that you... And also, and this, and then it's just breathless and endless every time.
Is the idea like cut him loose?
Well, they keep threatening, like they're going to cut you loose because of all this shit that's going on with your friend.
But is it like cut your friend loose?
Well, they're telling you to cut your friend loose.
Really?
And there's no button for that?
No, because there's no choice anywhere in the mode.
So what happens to Vic?
Does Vic die?
Vic eventually dies.
He dies in a basketball game?
But before he dies,
he's just your bud.
I know.
Before he dies,
But it's in the basketball game.
he tries to blackmail you over a thing that is not mentioned until this scene where you're trying to cut him loose, basically.
What'd you do?
He goes on to explain in this car scene where you are driving and he is in the passenger seat and the car just keeps moving for 15 minutes on a city street. There is no stoplight. Nothing happens. Just the city just keeps moving in the background.
Driving around at night,
Yeah.
No, it's middle of the day.
He's catching all the greens.
Yeah,
He talks about how
He's got the watchdogs thing.
when you were younger, at some point, some guy in the neighborhood who was like a notorious thief, at some point ran up on you, like basically wanting to steal either your coat or something else. And how when you were trying to defend yourself, you shoved him and he fell down some stairs and fucking died.
What?
And he's going to blackmail you?
And he's saying that, he was the one who cleaned up the mess after you ran off.
That sounds like self-defense. That sounds like it would have been
But
fine.
he didn't want to jeopardize his, potential basketball career, so he didn't want to. So he kind of, you receded into the night while he dealt with this.
How did he clean up the mess?
That is not really explained.
Did he J that shit and get the car and
really does not explain what took place.
Cereal cut. Yeah, cereal.
They do not explain really what happened there. And before any of that can possibly be resolved, Vic is miraculously killed in a car crash.
Oh boy!
Right after you sign your free agent contract at the end of the season.
So this isn't like you tell your coach like, "Oh man, Vic's gonna blackmail me."
No.
Okay, so there's
Never gets to that
there's
point.
no dirty foul play here.
No.
2K17.
No.
It turns
Vic's
out
story.
that Vic.
We'll
got
get to Vic's
whacked.
story in a second.
Tell me more
here.
about what happens to Vic.
So Vic dies. There's a very a tearful moment of you getting the phone call that he was killed, and more or less, and your family and surrounding people comforting you as that is going on. The next scene that they smash cut to is you and your twin sister sort of half joking around back on the old, hometown basketball court. That like, man, sure is crazy about everything that happened. Yeah. Can't believe Vic's dead, but man, that's just the way it's, and just life. Like, that's what it means to live the dream and all that shit. Fuck, I don't know.
Okay.
Living the dream.
I'm paraphrasing here. I don't remember the exact lines, but it felt a little too jokey for what had just taken place. Mm-hmm. They walk off the court, and then Vic, in an all-white tracksuit.
All white everything.
Walks out onto the court and then reads from a piece of ghost paper, I assume.
He's a ghost.
It's hard to remember even if you're a ghost. You don't want to mess this one up.
A 10-minute monologue.
No way.
About what his life was, what his life, like why he made the choices he made, why he his friendship to you and all this.
This is a play.
And you basically find out at the end, this was Vic's story.
Wait.
It was never your story. Vic was the character that story was fucking the most interested in the entire time.
Wait, what?
Wait, so you're dead?
No, you're fine. But Vic is dead. Vic is the central figure of the whole thing.
Vic is Hamlet.
Vic is the
clearly.
And the Vic. He's the victim. He's Vic.
Don't pun this shit.
He's a victim. He's the Vic. He's the perpetrator. He's the perp. You're the freak, right? You're frequency.
You're frequency vibrations.
What is he talking about in this 10-minute soliloquy?
Is it just like his life monologue, his life story?
It's him basically justifying his existence and the ways that he lived his life and sort of, apologizing for the wrongs that he had made and all this kind of shit. Like, it is the hokiest goddamn thing in the world.
Weird.
And you can tell that it wouldn't bother me so much were it not such a weirdly deathly self-serious thing to throw at the end of this otherwise pretty fucking frivolous and boilerplate basketball story.
And then it pivots to just a career mode where you continue the career
pivot. No, first you buy your damn parents a house because that's what you do.
Do you get to pick it?
No. You don't get to pick anything during the Spike Lee portion of this stuff. But then, it just pivots straight up to a regular career basketball mode.
Do credits roll before that happens?
Yes, there are credits, and there's also a sequence of live action movements of the dolly tracking shot of
the Spike Lee shot
of every actor who was in it, sort of doing a quick little hey yo, my name is this, and I'm from here, and this is what I and then the little catchphrase, and it's like every actor who was in it.
Sound like a Spike Lee joint.
It is billed as a Spike Lee joint. Right? It is a 40 Acres and a Mule production.
Okay.
Man.
We need to do a Mystery Science Theater 3000.
I know I know how this goes. I don't know. It sounds like if you just took that Vic part, is that any good?
No.
Okay, out of context.
You didn't get that?
None of it is good.
I got that it's super weird in context, but maybe it's irrelevant or like oh, that's an emotional speech just in context makes no sense.
Sounds like this would be the worst introduction to video game drama for someone who normally isn't experienced.
Hey, this is my first video game basketball game. Let's check this out.
What's this all about?
What the fuck is video games?
Dude, the last two, and it's even worse because the last 2 years of that game's my career mode have been, still pretty boilerplate basketball stories, but they've made sense and they've made you feel like you at least have a degree of agency in what's going on. This has none of that.
Wait, hold the shit. When does Devil Michael Jordan show up?
Never.
True.
Right?
Maybe that's why that's what Vic's going to go do in the sequel.
He's got to fight.
This is the origin story.
He's the minion of Jordan.
Is he, he's now that he's dead, he can go to the spirit plane where Michael Jordan rules
and dunk on him.
I don't think Michael Jordan's dead.
Yeah, why does he rule the spirit?
Because in the intro to that game, you're running through the apocalypse, dribbling, and then it's Michael Jordan and other basketball players.
Yeah, other modern basketball players,
and they all have red eyes. And Michael Jordan is sitting on a bone. It's like a throne of bones or something like that.
I don't think it's actually bones.
It's just like a golden throne.
But no, it's a bull. It is a bull. It's like a golden bull.
Right,
yeah, don't worship. Well, I was assuming because it was like the golden calf.
That is some graven image shit right there.
It was false idol.
I'm not sure
it could be this basketball thing.
Where's the fantasy starting?
So
it's all real, baby.
So he gets out and his eyes are burning red and flames are from behind him. And it gives you this bring it. And you got to go up against him, and he smacks the ball out of your hand. Everybody else
back.
Did they redo that for
all the CG in this looks like it's from a shitty Dreamcast game.
Yeah.
But then you dunk on him, and
it's like choir of angels, like light from the heavens.
Stop it!
I'm not kidding.
And this game is amazing.
But that game doesn't exist.
That's a word.
That's not the game. That game never comes to fruition.
That's just a weird intro.
I don't know. You
that you never get.
Got to enter a code or something.
I don't know. I haven't finished playing through everything in that game, but that story mode is absolutely one of the worst pieces of story anything I've seen in a game in a very long time. And I went in thinking it might be a little awkward, it might be a little weird because this isn't really Spike Lee's medium. You know, that's fine. But it was beyond even my conception of how bad that thing could be.
Shazam.
All right, well, there you have it.
I mean, Shazam was a movie, not a video game. But yes, you're right.
Well, no.
Right. Him saying Shazam.
But also, then I realized that's also when we played. It's got the commentators for the game are
CG
Shaq.
Yes,
who is Kazam.
He is Kazam.
And so the tie-in there, they're firing on all cylinders. Is what I'm saying. You got Kazam. Shazam.
You're right. I'm totally turned around on all of this.
That's
You're right.
That's right. Have you played NBA Live yet?
No, I haven't yet.
You should see that story.
That intro video.
Really
Optimus
curious.
Prime comes out, and it's fucking weird.
Autobots.
Directed by Brett Ratner. I don't know. I haven't gotten to Live yet. But 2K, I mean, look, apart from the story stuff, 2K16 is still a pretty good basketball game. There's some good stuff in there. But they could not have fucked that mode up harder than they did this year.
Are you saying that, like, 2K out Metal Gear this year?
The
story you wanted from Metal Gear is actually buried inside
the
of
10-minute
2K.
long cutscenes.
I don't think this is the story you wanted from anything.
Does Vic talk about nuclear proliferation?
Not that I can recall.
He does.
Okay. Okay.
Ocelot is there though, which is weird. I don't know.
Yeah, that is weird.
Yeah, I don't know. So that's that.
Okay, let's move on from that